All right. Sure.
Yes, we are live. Good morning, Silas, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. Thanks, and you, my brother.
I'm super. I'm super. It's good to have you, man. And it's been a long time.
Yes. It's been a very long time since we had an engagement like this.
Yes, yes. Listen,
Yeah.
this morning, my brother, I just want us to help fellow South Africans.
Yes.
Yes, out there and Africa as a whole, just to give them a
Yes.
little bit of understanding of who we
Yes.
are and what do we do, and
Okay.
how
Yes.
that has changed our lives, and moving forward, what is our plan in terms of trying to assist the country.
Okay. Fantastic. I mean,
All
I'm
right,
excited to have this conversation.
super, man. We'll try to speak all languages. Please just mix the languages. Yeah, just
Yeah.
mix the languages for the benefit of everybody. Okay.
Certainly, I'll do my level best.
Yeah, and because really and truly, I want you to impact the people out in the villages in Limpopo,
All right.
in
Definitely.
Polokwane, and all
Yes.
the areas there. I want you to speak to those people. Okay. My brother, just introduce yourself to the audience, that to
All right.
everybody that is.
Definitely.
Just introduce yourself to everybody that is watching us and listening to this video. Just introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and where you originate from, and how many were you in your parents and all that. Over to you, my brother.
Right. Right. Thank you so much for the opportunity to have this conversation once again. I mean, it's not every day that it happens. Right. So my name is Silas Morerwa, to those that don't know me. So Raike Limpopo. At home is actually Limpopo. I'm actually from Limpopo, but I grew up in Pretoria for the most part of my life. And then I moved back this side. Right. So this is basically where I come from, Silas Morerwa. I'm actually the firstborn of two. And yeah, I do have a sibling. He's currently in Pretoria. I'm currently in Limpopo. Refreshing to be this side, actually.
Okay.
Very amazing environment. Okay.
Okay, that's
so a little bit of where I come from. I think I enrolled for a civil engineering diploma with UNISA some years ago. So I did have aspirations of becoming a civil engineer in my past life. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey. Obviously, the plan changed along the way.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I went a lot more into business.
For sure. I think if those careers can actually adapt to the network side of things, they can start moving. Yeah. What do you think?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think, you see, money is the issue. we need to address this number one thing, which is the money aspect.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And yeah, so I did study civil engineering, and I think at a later stage of my life, I can't even remember, but I also, with the same institution, UNISA, I went through the Timali Institution, where I also studied a bit of African political economy. You know, Timali is actually Thabo Mbeki Leadership Institute, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so I actually studied, which kind of gave me an overview of how the world works. It's not just about Africa. So I got a overview of how things kind of work around the world economically, etc. So it was quite an interesting course that I took at that point in time, but it exposed me to a lot about how the globe works, economically, politically, and maybe, what do you call this, philosophically as well. You know, it's quite interesting. So it was something that I actually don't regret having taken at that point.
That's super. So basically, you are the man to speak to the younger generation of this country, to get them to understand where we come from and where we are heading to.
I wouldn't say where we are heading to, maybe an idea of where I'm heading to. But ideally taking a lot of people with me there.
That's good. That's what I wanted to hear. Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, ideally taking, if possible, the whole nation, 56 million people.
That's good. That's great. That's a very super aspiration. All right. Yeah. That is achievable. That is achievable, my brother. We are actually on the journey of converting most of the people around the country to become financially independent. Because that's all that we are talking about. It's financial independence. As long as we do not have that in our pockets, the freedom is not free. What do you think?
Yes, without the finance, there's no freedom. There's not much freedom that you could do. I mean, just by waking up, you are already you need a couple of rands, just for waking up. Even to go to bed, even to sleep, you need a couple of rands. So we do need income to survive here on Earth.
All right. And then after you've done all those wonderful studies, where did you work?
Okay. My first job, I think today they call them parking marshals. But at that time we were called car guards. I was that guy ironically, while I was still a UNISA student. Now, at that time, I was also generating an income from actually being in the parking lot and, helping UNISA students park cars during their examination seasons. So I think it was 3 times a year that I was in the parking lot for more than 10 hours. And that was my first job. The tips were good. Obviously, the company that we worked for, it was paying also for us to be in the parking lot, but the tips were better than the income, the salary, And while we were doing that, I think we learned a lot of leadership qualities while we were in the parking lots, being the guy that marshaled cars, because now it was not only just about parking UNISA students, and also every other event that happened there, because it was a events venue in Pretoria. So every other event that was there, I was there in the parking lot, parking cars. And that was pretty much my first job, I think. And then from the parking lot, I went into the offices of that same company. Am I allowed to mention names, the name of the company?
For sure, you can.
So it was Hartfeld Arena there in Pretoria at the Fort Trekker Monument. So in Pretoria there, that's exactly where I parked cars. And if you wrote exams, UNISA exams there, most likely I parked your car. And if you were there for an event, either a Metro FM event or whatever, I probably parked your car in the parking lot, maybe in the dust out there or in the tarred parking lot. But we designed all those parking lots and we had a parking strategy that we deployed for every single event. So I learned a lot of stuff while I was in the parking. But moving forward in the same company, I became pretty much, I don't know if I had a specific role, but I headed one of the departments there. I was hired to head one of the departments, which is the lighting division now. So the company had a property division and whatnot. So I was supplying all those other divisions and I was heading that department. So I did a lot of internet work, websites, making sure that the online store is ready. I pretty much learned some of those skills there. And it was a huge blessing for me to have been involved in such things, because now that exposed me to the online world, which was another broader planet, if I could call it that. I think that the internet is a different planet of its own. And I learned how to sell stuff online.
Silas, while we are there, my brother, this is very interesting. During that time, you were parking cars. And parking cars for people who are coming to events.
Yes, at events and UNISA examinations. UNISA was the most consistent one.
And now, currently, you run your own events.
Yes.
While
Yes.
everybody else was in the event, not even knowing what they were discussing inside the event, you were parking cars.
Yes.
My God.
Yes.
Hey, Panagit, this is super. This is super. This is inspiring to everybody that is actually listening to us talking now, because there are people out there who are very much eager to go out and get something something done, but it's not. They don't see the way, and they don't know where to start, and all of that. Some of them, they end up losing hope, and they get into drugs, and they lose their lives. So what would you say to such guys, and what would you advise them? What would you speak to those guys?
Right. So in my case, it was such a blessing because before then, I think I was 13 when I read a book titled The Principles and Power of Vision by Dr. Miles Monroe. And I captured a vision while I was reading that book. And for the most part of the year, also I had an audio CD. So about a third to half of the year, I literally just absorbed that information from the CD. And it allowed me to capture vision. But at that point, when I was at the parking lots, it was quite interesting because I was at the lowest of my low, and I didn't even know how things are going to turn out. I was still struggling to pay my UNISA fees. I was still struggling to get things together at that point. So it was quite interesting when it happened that when I got to the parking lot. Now, remember, middle class income, single parent, and you kind of have an ego or a standard of life, and you don't want to be associated with a particular standard or a particular class. And now when you're in the parking lot, it kind of takes you much lower than where you came from.
For sure.
And I had to deal with my ego problems right there, because now I had to be vulnerable enough to say, you know what, I'm going to do this no matter what. And it's not nice because now when you go into any town for that matter, there's a guy who's parking cars and you tend to look down on them. And I was myself that guy in that position at that time. However, going back to the story of why I started with the book, is the book taught me on how to capture vision. And I kept the vision, and I knew while I was in the parking lot, it was a perfect opportunity to connect and network with people. I didn't know that until I was there, but after a couple of times, I mean, I know the first time I was there and I was shy and all, and I couldn't even speak to people because it was like, okay, what are these people thinking of me while I'm parking cars? But you get over that mindset. And then I got into another level where I was like, okay, well, I'm seeing fancy cars and stuff like that. Definitely these people are doing something with their lives. So I started talking to people. So for instance, during UNISA examinations, the parents stayed in the parking lots in their cars, and they brought their children to come and write examinations. Isn't that a perfect opportunity to say, hi, my name is so and so, I want to know, how did you achieve the place where you could even buy yourself a Bentley? And I shared those conversations. And there was another guy, Tami Mabaso, who I met in the parking lot, and he wrote a book called Running Your Own Race. And he literally went into his car and he said, you know what, I understand where you are and I understand where you're coming from. I also came in, interesting enough, I think he's from Pietermaritzburg, somewhere in the KZN region, but also in the rural areas. And he says, and he drove a very fancy car at that time. And he said, I'm not gonna try and share words of wisdom. I'm just gonna give you my book. Go and read it and take it from there. Running Your Own Race. Title, perfect. He actually does comrades marathons as well. So that's why he wrote that book of Running Your Own Race. That everybody has their own pace that they could do things. Focus on your own strength and focus on running your own race, which is personalize it. And for me, that was another blessing that came from the parking lot. So it's not just about being the lowest of the lowest. Now the lowest became the place of comfort, the place of hope. Because now I'm meeting these people and I'm having conversations. And while I'm having conversations, it became more about now I connect with people rather than how much of the tip they could give me, because the tip they could give me is pretty much for transport and for my lunch money at that point. So I needed to cover about $150 per day, because that covered the transport and food. So that's all you needed to cover for. But that alone was one experience. So for me, I think that what I can say to that person is, have a massive vision in your head and believe in it. Doesn't matter where you are in life, whether you're at the lowest of the lowest, it doesn't matter, but your vision sets you apart, and your vision influences you to do certain things and to keep growing and expand where you're coming from. I think that's where I was actually coming from when I started with the book that I actually read, and going into the audio CD that I listened to about 33 times in 1 year, because I used to clean the house every Saturday at home. So I had no choice but to listen to something. Right. So that's pretty much what I can say about that.
So my brother, if I listen to you very clearly, you are saying to me, leaders are readers.
Leaders are readers. They read books.
That's super,
like
man.
Crazy.
That's super. Silas, while you are there, my brother, right now, we're in 2020, we're in lockdown. Where are you right now in your life?
Yes. Where am I right now in my life? I'm in an interesting place where I see opportunity. It's just, lockdown is not mental lockdown. You see, you don't lock our mental state. In fact, we can stimulate our mental state inside a lockdown. Right. So it's an incredible opportunity to start thinking about how to plan better for the next depression. It is coming. In any case, the next one is coming. They are always coming. So how can I be more prepared? How can I look forward to making or generating a massive amount of wealth out of this one misfortune? Well, it's seemingly a misfortune, but it's really not. It's actually a massive blessing to most people. Because I've had conversations with a lot of people that were saying, you know what, I wish I was better prepared. I wish I took different decisions. And I shared the same sentiment with them. I was like, I also wish I made different decisions. So for me, at this point, yes, we are here, but things are going to get better from here. So I was actually just thinking this morning that you either see junk status or a massive amount of opportunity.
Super marvelous, man.
Yeah.
Tell me, now we are in Carrot Bars. Me and you, we are in Carrot Bars. We are running our own business.
Yes.
Creating our own teams. We are generating we are making millionaires out there.
Yes.
When did you join Carrot Bars, and how long did it take you to actually get to say, now I am earning good money?
Okay, so Carrot Bars, when was it? I think 2017.
Yes, speak your language.
Your language. Yeah, I think 2017. So that, but Kanaguela, it was just, I didn't even know what I could do with it. It took me, I think like literally over the past year, which was 2018. So even though Vignale account to 2017, I didn't do anything with it up until I would say predominantly last year. And yeah, that's where it all started. And since then, it's been an incredible opportunity that I have embraced and took it on. I mean, Yeah.
My brother, please,
Mm.
we are running out of time. Please
Okay.
please advise someone at home in Limpopo, someone sitting there in Vembe right now. Tell them what to do, where to from now. Everybody around the world and around Africa.
Okay. So this is something like the project when I'm alone, and I think maybe it's a nice principle to apply. You're still breathing, and for as long as there's a ton of opportunity. Or fail. Failure is impossible. So for as long as I'm still breathing on this earth, it's impossible. And this is the only place where impossible applies in my life, because I'm breathing. And I have the privilege of seeing the next day as an opportunity to make sure that I get to the place where I'm getting. And I suppose that's a very good principle to apply when you're saying, but I'm still breathing today, I have another opportunity. And for as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to make it impossible for me not to succeed.
That's super. That's great, man. Yeah. I know you love so much the 911.
Yeah, I'm a Porsche guy. Typical petrol head as well.
It might sound a little bit arrogant right now, but it is what it is, and life is about choices. People, they took their own choices, and you decided to take your own choice, and I think it's paying out for you, and it's going very well at the same time. So when are you changing when are you getting the next one?
When am I getting the next one? After the 911.
The 911.
It's definitely the F12. I think either the F12 or one I guess between the F12 and the Aston Martins. Those things. Yeah.
So that's super, my brother. Thank you so much, Silas, for spending your time with us this morning. This video is going to help a lot of people around the world and in our country. Yeah, it should make someone a youth, because you are still young, Silas, I must say.
Yes.
You are far younger than me, but you have achieved quite a lot, and I'm very happy for you. And I want to help you with this, with what we are doing now, to take it to the next level. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I mean, I don't know, it's the most humbling experience I have right now. I'm in deep gratitude of this moment.
There's a saying that say, together we stand.
Yes.
But if we are separated, we fall. And I believe that if we join hands, we will be able to pull the millions of South Africans, the millions out there in the rural areas and in the mikukus. I don't know what you call them in your languages. But yeah, but really and truly, I want us to take those people out of those mikuku and show them the light and give them the true financial freedom. Financial freedom is gold.
Just to end this, because only mikuku, the physical ones, I get.
Yeah.
And there's this mkuku here also. This mkuku must also develop, into a mansion.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Thank you so much, Silas. You, my brother, you must have a wonderful day ahead. And we'll definitely get in touch with you again and have these wonderful stories and tell the world about who we are. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.